What's up? My name is Dimitri, and in this video, I'm going to show you why your clients are being stolen by your competitors, very simply using the lemonade stand analogy. All right, so if we look at both of these lemonade stands, as you can see, they're both the same. Okay, they're both selling lemonade. The only difference is we have Phil here who is questioning why nobody's buying his lemonade, and then we have Peter here who claims he's rich. The only reason Peter claims he's rich is because he's actually sold out all of his lemonade, all right? And his lemonade is priced $2 more than Phil's. So, I wonder why Phil isn't getting any sales, all right? Well, possibly because he's positioned himself inside of a 200-acre field, all right? That is Peter. He has decided that, it's a good idea to start a lemonade stand within a 200-acre empty field that has absolutely no foot traffic. Versus, we have Peter here. Peter, he paid a little bit more, a lot more, to have his lemonade stand within a busy football stadium, okay? So when there is, when there's halftime or when somebody gets busy and they're on their way to the bathroom, he's intercepting their attention. And they're literally seeing him and, just from the fact that he's intercepting their attention, they could be sitting down watching the football game, get thirsty, and just remember the fact that they saw a lemonade stand outside. And now he's acquired a new customer, and they have paid $2 more than Phil's lemonade, and on top of that, Peter is sold out. Okay, so these two analogies represent your business, and it really just comes down to the fact that most of the time, I'd say all of the time, when you are at a point where you just don't understand why you aren't generating new leads, why nobody's booking a call with you, it really just comes down to visibility, right? Your competitors are not necessarily better than you are. And a lot of the times, actually, I would argue that your competitors their service is significantly worse than yours, but they're acquiring all of your customers because it just comes back to the 80-20 rule, okay? So you're focusing on the 80% that's not really doing anything within your business, which is like the website, your logo, things that don't really matter, maybe like some systems in the business to like optimize for client acquisition when you don't even have anybody in the pipeline. So instead of focusing on that, you should be focusing on the 20%, which is, generating traffic, okay? So creating content, posting on social media, and being consistent with it, what you are doing is you are intercepting people's attention. So you're literally placing yourself within a traffic source, intercepting people's attention, and they're probably not going to be ready to buy when you start posting content. They might not even be ready to buy for the entire year. But just by you consistently consuming their mental bandwidth, consistently posting content, what's going to happen is they're going to start to make the association of you're just that guy for that offer. So for example, me, content marketing, right? Creating content, creating YouTube content, anything content, video content related, eventually there is going to be a point where people have consumed enough of my content, and when they need the service, when they need to outsource their content marketing, what's going to happen is they're going to think of me. And when they're ready, they're going to book a call. But there's no way for them to actually get through the funnel to book the call unless I'm constantly consuming their mental bandwidth. And the way I do that is by consistently posting content. So this is a very simple analogy, and I really want you to drill it in your head when you are thinking like, what should my main focus be throughout the week? Should it be, to optimize something for a future outcome? Like for example, optimize an automatic onboarding system for the one client I land every 6 months? Or should I focus on dialing in on my content, creating content that's useful for people to consume so they can learn about my service and they can, get into my funnel, and then they can eventually book a call with me, and then I'll optimize everything else, later on when I need to? Or should I, keep focusing on the little things like the font on my website, or, creating a new website, things that don't matter and will not matter at all if you're generating no traffic. And I'm not even joking about this. Like this is something that, so for example, today I'm onboarding a new client. And the reason I'm onboarding the new client today is because for the past year, I've nurtured them through my newsletters, through my content, through sending them lead magnets, just consistently teaching them things and actually allowing them to, create create good content without even hiring me to do the service. But it's gotten to a point for them where they decided that, you know, they have other things they want to focus on within their business and they want to completely outsource their content. So now we're onboarding them and we're taking care of their YouTube channel, which is pretty cool. But that's really how content works. Content is just a nurturing mechanism where it's the same exact thing as outreach and it's the same exact thing as paid ads, okay? It's just another way for you to be seen. And when you are seen and when you are generating traffic, when you're bringing in more eyes to your offer, AKA you are Peter, who has positioned himself in a busy football stadium. That's literally what you're doing. You're literally placing yourself into a traffic source, okay? Whether it's Instagram, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, whatever platform it is, it doesn't matter. You have to understand that it's literally free attention, okay? Somebody is on their phone, scrolling through their phone 24/7, okay? Even if they're not doing it 24/7, there's a point in their day where they're consuming content, the same places where you're consuming content. So right now you're watching a YouTube video, all right? Your clients are doing the same exact thing, all right? So they're either going to be consuming your content or they're going to be consuming your competitors' content. And when they're consuming your competitors' content and not your content, what you're doing is you're literally handing off clients to them. Because if they're searching for a topic to learn about online and you could have easily just made a 10-minute video on it and intercepted their attention, but your competitor did, you've literally given away the opportunity for you to be seen. So that's really how content works. It's very simple. And a lot of people, most people I'd say, overthink it. They think first off that they need to reinvent the wheel. They need to, come at it with like this new angle, where they have to have like the most overly edited video. They have to have the best thumbnails ever. They also, whatever it is, right? These are all just excuses created in your mind so you can remain inside of a 200-acre empty field, all right? Which is literally most of the time just you sitting in your office trying to figure out why you don't have any more clients or you're not getting any clients. When the simple solution to that is to just do things, okay? Everything results, all of your results come from just action, okay? And that's what content is. You're creating momentum. You're creating content, you're pushing out content, and that content, it's just like the last video, which I'll link below, of how you're literally cloning yourself when you create content. That is literally what's happening. You are creating information and you are permanently putting it online, and people will be directed to that video. And eventually, a person is going to find your video and they're going to start consuming your content. And what they're going to do is they're just going to associate you as that person who can solve that problem for them. And once you get to that point, then they'll be reaching out to you. You'll be able to offer them your service, and you will never have a dry pipeline just because of the fact that you've mastered intercepting attention, okay? So that is pretty much it. Screenshot both of these and put them, literally hang it up, okay? Hang it up in front of your office or in front of your desk, and remember that actually, here's another good example that I've seen, okay? So another great equation that sums all of this up is 0 attention times 100 skills equals 0 okay? So 0 attention times 100 skills equals 0 opportunities. That's literally what it comes down to, right? So if you're Phil in an empty 200-acre field and you're wondering why nobody buys your product, you might actually have the best product that exists. But the problem is you're literally invisible. You have 0 traffic. So your goal is to just intercept attention, and you do that by creating content. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one.